Greetings, speed enthusiasts!
Today we review the final duels in the 11-second car category from the 18th edition of the Barranquilla 2025 quarter-mile drag racing Carnival Cup.
We begin with a duel between Camilo Bayonna's Toyota Celica and Cesar Ramos' Chevrolet Corvette C8.
Segundos que tenemos bastantes. Nosotros les avisamos en qué momento. Sigue en competencia César Ramos.
The victory goes to Cesar Ramos in his Chevrolet Corvette.
The next matchup is between Jamie Cannon's turbo Honda Civic and Edwin Novoa's Mercedes of 45 AMG.
Señor Jaime Cañón para entrar a la zona de competencia. Por favor, la seguridad de los pilotos al momento de ingresar, por favor. Arturo Porno. Sigue en competencia.
The winner is Jamie Cannon in his Honda Civic. In the next duel, Arturo Polo in his Audi S3 advances directly to the next round, as his rival does not show up.
Now we have a race between Daniel Verrett in his Volkswagen Golf GTI and Jose Miguel Barron in his BMW M140i. The winner is Jose Barron in his BMW M140i.
Now facing off are Jose Gomez in his BMW 325i and Juan Vega in his Audi S3.
Tiempo de José Fernando.
The winner is Jose Gomez in his BMW 325i. The next matchup is between Daniel Perez in his Audi S3 and Alejandro Martinez in his Audi RS3. Daniel Perez has issues with his Audi S3 that force him to withdraw, so the victory goes to Alejandro Martinez in his Audi RS3.
The next duel is between Jorge Tamayo in his Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 and Leonardo Lillo in his BMW 325i. The winner is Leonardo Lillo in his BMW 325i. Now we have Edgardo Gutierrez in his 1966 Chevrolet Chevelle versus Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6. The victory goes to Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6.
Up next, Ronald Chavez in his McLaren MP4 faces off against Ivan Prada in his Audi S3. The winner is Ronald Chavez in his McLaren MP4. The next duel was supposed to be between Adrian Carasquilla in his BMW M240i and Andres Guerrero in his Honda NSX. However, the latter does not show up and is disqualified.
Thus, we move on to the next duel between Juan David Galindo in his Audi RS3 and Ernesto Busch in his Chevrolet Monte Carlo. However, the latter also does not show up and is disqualified.
Now we have a duel between Andres Mejia in his BMW M440i xDrive and Alvaro Stefanel in his BMW X3 M Competition.
Número 60 y el número 45, Ángel Molina. Por favor, ir avanzando. Pablo Galán y César Navarro. Tenemos el carril derecho.
is Andres Mejia in his BMW M440i. Next up are Sebastian Sepulveda in his BMW M240i xDrive and Angel Molina in his BMW M340i xDrive.
Ya debe estar haciendo su ingreso Pablo Galán. Estamos avanzando en la tremendo reaction time. Victoria directa. .088 para Sebastián Sepúlveda.
The winner, by a very narrow margin, is Angel Molina in his BMW M340i xDrive.
Now we have Pablo Galán in his Audi RS3 facing off against Cesar Navargos in his Chevrolet Camaro ZL1.
Las personas que están pegadas al muro y a la bandera, por favor, retirarse de esa zona. Navarro, carril derecho.
After a close race and thanks to his reaction time, the victory goes to Pablo Galán in his Audi RS3.
Now let's move on to a matchup between Cesar Ramos in his Chevrolet Corvette C8 and Jamie Cannon in his turbo Honda Civic.
15 para César Navarro se va a 11.285 y el reaction time de Pablo debe pasar hasta la llave con 11.239 con una diferencia final de 0.046.
After a very close duel, the victory goes to Jamie Cannon in his Honda Civic.
Now we have a duel between Jose Miguel Barron in his BMW M140i and Arturo Polo's Audi S3.
Piloto Alejandro Martínez del vehículo 309.
After another close race, the victory goes to Arturo Polo in his Audi S3.
Now Jose Gomez in his BMW 325i faces off against Alejandro Martinez in his Audi RS3.
Avanzar, Isaac Stutberg, por favor, avanzar. En el siguiente pique, carril derecho, Alejandro los dos vehículos se dan el falta.
Both vehicles commit a false start, so this duel must be repeated.
In the meantime, we go to the matchup between Leonardo Lillo and his BMW 325i and Isaac Strasberg and his BMW M6.
Chávez, número 67.
Leonardo Lillo experiences mechanical issues with his BMW that leave him stuck at the starting line. Thus, the victory goes to Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6.
Now we have a duel between Ronald Chavez in his McLaren MP4 and Adrian Carasquilla in his BMW M240i.
Minuto para el siguiente pique, carril izquierdo, Ronald Chávez.
Ronald Chavez, in his McLaren MP4, clocks an ET of 10.882 seconds, which disqualifies him from this category and sends him to compete in the 10-second car class. Thus, the victory goes to Adrian Carasquilla in his BMW M240i.
Now we return to the rematch between Jose Gomez in his BMW 325i and Alejandro Martinez in his Audi RS3.
Jose Gomez in his BMW 325i commits a false start, so the victory goes to Alejandro Martinez in his Audi RS3.
Now Juan David Galindo in his Audi RS3 faces off against Andres Mejia in his BMW M440i xDrive.
la ciudad también de Medellín. Veremos quién sigue en competencia.
The victory goes to Andres Mejia in his BMW M440i xDrive.
Now we have Pablo Galán in his Audi RS3 versus Ángel Molina in his BMW M340i xDrive.
Ángel Molina.
The winner is Ángel Molina in his BMW M340i xDrive.
Now Jamie Cannon in his Honda Civic faces off against Arturo Polo in his Audi S3.
If you're enjoying the video, please support us with a like.
Arturo Polo commits a false start in his Audi S3, so the victory goes to Jamie Cannon in his Honda Civic.
Now Alejandro Martinez in his Audi RS3 faces Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6.
Ganó.
The winner is Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6.
Up next, Adrian Carasquilla in his BMW M240i goes up against Andres Mejia in his BMW M440i xDrive.
Derechito, derechito. Un poquito a la derecha. Un poquito a la derecha.
winner is Andres Mejia in his BMW M440i xDrive.
In the next duel, Jamie Cannon in his Honda Civic faces Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6.
Para que sepan, como Jaime Cañón viene de la categoría de 12 segundos, ingresó a la de 11 segundos de uno. Para este veterano piloto Jaime Cañón de los Piques. Fuerte aplauso para Jaime Cañón. Gracias Jaime Cañón por siempre rescatarnos y siempre estar aquí con su vehículo. Muchas gracias Jaime. Veterano piloto bumangués de los Piques cuarto de milla.
Jamie Cannon experiences mechanical issues in his Honda Civic and is forced to withdraw. Thus, the victory goes to Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6.
Now we have a face-off between Andres Mejia in his BMW M440i xDrive and Angel Molina in his BMW M340i xDrive.
Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos.
Aparecerán los mejores registros de la categoría de 11 segundos. Vamos señores, estamos listos. Vamos señores, estamos listos. Vamos señores, estamos listos. Por favor, el número 343, Reaction Time Daniel Molina. Sigue en competencia.
The winner is Angel Molina in his BMW M340i xDrive, who then goes on to face Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6.
Angel Molina in his BMW M340i commits a false start, so the victory goes to Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6, who should next face John Loaiza in his BMW X4.
However, the latter does not show up and is disqualified.
Thus, Isaac Strasberg in his BMW M6 advances to the semi-final, where he faces Anthony Julio in his Audi RS3.
Anthony, estás con lo brillante.
Voy a correr con la pega.
Por competir por el tercer lugar de la categoría de los 11 segundos, perteneciente a la categoría Cartacho Motorsport, se enfrenta a Anthony Julio de su Audi RS3.
The winner is Anthony Julio in his Audi RS3, who then advances to the final to face Jose Manuel Hurtado in his BMW X3 M40i.
Si va a participar el piloto Hernán Giraldo, por favor nos confirman si va a participar o no. Muchas gracias. No vamos adentrando y preparando. Listo para la gran final. Una ventaja considerable de Antonio.
The winner, thanks to his reaction time, is Anthony Julio in his Audi RS3, thus claiming the championship trophy in the 11-second car category of this 18th edition of the Barranquilla 2024 quarter-mile drag racing Carnival Cup. Congratulations to him and his team. We've reached the end. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more content. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.